done the fold, I've done the flip. Here is everything else that I got to go hands-on with that Samsung just announced at Galaxy Unpacked. Let's go. So we've seen the fold, we've seen the flip. There are my other videos that you can go and check out. This is going to be dedicated to the Watch 7, Watch Ultra, Buds 3, and Buds 3 Pro. I'm going to split it up into Watch and Buds, starting with the Galaxy Watch Ultra. This is the big one. The Galaxy Watch Ultra is Samsung's first big attempt at an Ultra flagship watch. In the past, they've pretty much gone for the style over substance. Watch 6 Classic and the Classic range in general is pretty much appealing to the aesthetic users of smartwatches versus ones who are looking for extreme functionality. They've dabbled the Gear Sport and the Watch 5 Pro of both versions of sort of more active smartwatches that kind of remove the style element. The Watch Ultra kind of combined both in a big way. A lot of people are saying that they've just ripped off Apple's design. I disagree hard, because the Watch Ultra from Samsung is basically just an iteration of their Gear Sport. Squared off rounded edges with the circular screen in the middle. That's a Gear Sport on steroids. That's what they've created. My first thoughts on the Watch Ultra were, whoa. I loved how it looked. I loved the beefiness of it. I loved the largeness of it. I just loved everything about it. I love the colors that it comes in. The white in particular looks amazing. But I also really like the understated nature of the black. But both colors came accentuated with the orange action button. Let's talk about it. Action button is Samsung's first attempt at adding in an extra button to their watches. They've previously only had the two buttons. One that goes back and the one that goes to home. And all sort of circumnavigated by the round rotating bezel. Rotating bezel isn't here. Samsung have still kind of maintained it in some way with a digital touch bezel with haptic feedback, but the action button adds in a different interactive element. Good thing is Samsung haven't removed the other two buttons as well, so they've still maintained the back and the home. You now have to get used to adding in an extra interaction. The action button can be programmed. The way we saw it programmed was you could either activate things like waterlock mode, activate workouts, or with Samsung's new multi-workout offering inside Samsung Health, you can skip to the next workout using the action button. Really clever way of bringing it in. It's not a rotating digital crown. I'm thankful for that too. I thought that would have been a terrible idea. I'm glad it's just a button and that's it. The thing the Watch Ultra does really nicely too is that Samsung have brought in extra hardware to sort of complement the extra functionality that it's got. You now have Samsung's Exynos 3nm processor, the first 3nm processor in a smartwatch that is going to be powering the whole thing. It's paired with a 590 mAh battery too, so it's going to last forever, hopefully. What I really like though is not just specs, is the fact that it's going to be durable. Samsung have built this thing to withstand conditions. It's 10 ATM, also paired with military standard titanium grade 4 casing, as well as IP68. I just think it will be able to be taken anywhere and looks great too. What I really appreciate though is how comfortable it was to wear. I put it on my wrist and Samsung have said they've done something to make it flatter, so it actually sits flusher to the skin for better readings and scores. And that will make sense too, because Samsung have brought in not only extra sensors on the back, but they've brought in extra software to take advantage of the readings. Part of Galaxy AI and the Health Assist function will be Energy Score. Energy Score basically combines all of your metrics that you've got and then combines them into a singular score. And off the back of that, makes health recommendations to help improve certain things, whether that be sleep, whether that be getting more active or drinking more water. All of it's going to be combined to give you a better metric and score. So that was a very quick look at the Watch Ultra. Even quicker look at the Watch 7 is it's basically just a refined version of the Watch 6 standard from last year. This seems to be Samsung's play, is they're going to do a Pro/Ultra and Classic and then alternate every year, and then the standard watch will just get a spec bump and upgrade alongside that. Really exciting. I haven't even mentioned the display of the Watch Ultra. 3000 nits by the way, and it is bright. Moving on to buds. This is going to be an interesting one because the buds themselves, definitely from a distance, very reminiscent of something we've seen before. And I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. I have always maintained that I prefer the sleek, subtle style of the buds that Samsung make. In fact, my peak buds are the Buds FE, and they're the cheapest ones of the range. But there's something about these that Samsung have done that definitely make it look sophisticated and classy. The white ones, well, they just look like AirPods. It's no denying it. They look like AirPods. The grey ones though, the different color option, looks very, very nice. What I like with the Buds 3 Pro in particular is they've got this light that is on the side of what Samsung are calling the blade. This light is there to sort of alert you to notifications, to charging. You'll see them light up in the case when they get in there. You'll see them light up when they're in pairing or pairing to a device. It's a very clever way of activating the light. I also like the fact that Samsung said that this light will work with Find My Samsung, so you can actually activate the light to help locate it somewhere if it's lost in a room. I didn't get to try the sound. I wasn't about to put on a pair of buds that other people were going to try and wear, but Samsung did say the Buds 3 Pro bring a two-way speaker and a very refined sound experience, and one that I'm probably going to dive a little bit deeper into once I actually get them myself. I could sit here, I'm standing, and spout off the specs of the Buds 3 and Buds 3 Pro, but I don't think that's the important thing. I know sound people love specs and numbers and frequencies, but for me, I much prefer to get them in my ear first before I go and test them. So make sure you hit subscribe for that, because I will be doing a deep dive and comparing Buds 2, Buds 2 Pro, Buds FE, and Buds 3 and 3 Pro all together just for you. Buds 3 were definitely cheaper than the Buds 3 Pro, but not cheap enough that they reminded me of a budget pair of earphones. The big difference between them is that the Buds 3 are an open type ANC, kind of like the way the Buds Live worked. And I remember at that time, everyone was up in arms saying that you can't call them ANC. Samsung never really did. They always maintained it was open type, where they don't actually sit in the ear, they sit outside of it. The Buds 3 Pro are very much traditional in that they are in-ear canal ANC, so that should definitely block out a lot more noise. And if that's what you're after, Buds 3 Pro is probably the way to go. Make sure you go check out my other videos from the other devices announced that unpacked, Flip 6, Fold 6 in particular. Hit subscribe to make sure you're up to date with all the other stuff that's coming out. And as I get my hands on it more in depth, sort of looks at everything, I'll see you in the next one. You!